Hope you're all having a good Sunday and a good weekend. So let's get right into it. So welcome back to another Smart Money Sundays. If you recall from last week's video, I'm gonna get started with DXY. I'm just gonna jump right in. So from last week, I was anticipating to see a more of a bullish reaction for price to come in to take up these highs here on the left. However, what we ended up seeing was a slower contraction uh, push up to price come out, take this high, and then we saw that bearish push to the downside, which me and the team were able to capitalize off in the short term. But what I'm anticipating now in terms of DXY, the DXY is in a prominent do or die area basically, because if we come down back below to these lows, which I think is going to be extremely likely, I think the DXY could very likely break to come down to make a new low. Okay, now depending on how price reacts when we come back to these levels is where we're going to see if we're going to see further accumulation or we're going to see a breakdown in price. But in terms of the DXY, it does not look good, at least in the short term. So what I'm anticipating now to come into the new week is what I want to see is price basically form a sort of a range come into the new week, potentially a short squeeze up for all late shorters, and then we see a continued push down to come out and take out this low. From then is where I'll be looking to continue adding onto my short and scaling in until we come back to these lows of 1.01. Okay, this is basically the zone where we're either going to see a continue price rally back above, or we're going to see a continued strong breakout. Now I don't think we're going to see a continued straight breakout, so I think it's likely a zone to see a short-term rally from either we break down lower or we then start looking for a higher time frame reversal to occur for these highs to get swept. But this is a very, very prominent zone for the dollar in the coming months and for this entire quarter. Okay, so it's very, very important to keep an eye out on the macro perspective on DXY. But for coming this week, I am fully short. Okay, so I'm gonna be waiting for a range to be created for Monday's high and low, and then I'll likely, for example, may look for Monday's highs to get swept, and then look to enter shorts. My first target obviously would be 1.0. 1.9, and then look to swing it down. But that's the game plan for DXY. Okay, so not gonna overcomplicate. Now let's go over to gold. Now there is an opportunity on gold that is coming, I believe very, very shortly. So if you look on the macro perspective of gold, this is the lows and this is the highs, okay, on the weekly time frame. Now lows, you see clean liquidity is swept, and then we see an impulsive move to the upside. Okay, now we also have liquidity above that is not been swept just yet. But if I go on the daily time frame, right, we're in this sort of this swing leg. Okay, so this is the weekly leg where it makes a higher high, a higher low, and another higher high, and now we're basically forming another retracement before we see another impulse to potentially come and make a new high on gold. Okay, which I think may be very likely. But in the short term, with the bearishness of the dollar this week, I think we at least going to see a bounce at least into the back into the $2,000 region. Okay, I think that's very, very likely. Again, this is the swing low on the daily. This is the swing high, and this is where I'm going to be looking for entries on for buys. Okay, at least in the short term, for price to come back into again the $2,000 region. That is my target. Okay, again, if you just place a simple Fibonacci, you see we're in the 61% region, which is a discounted level. Now again, I'd prefer to see some sort of manipulation, one more swipe of the high before a reclaim. Okay, that would be a very clean entry trigger for me to watch to ride price back into $2,000. Okay, so that's basically the game plan for gold. This is my zone of interest, stable as demand. Now let's go on to smaller time frames. Okay, you can see again we're sort of, let me just refine this zone down furthermore. Okay, Right. So as you can see, we're in this sort of range, okay, previously, and so this range bound environment, okay, and then we've had this break down below. Now, what I want to see come into Monday, uh, so basically tomorrow, I want to see a potential push down below, and then a rally back above, and that will enter me clean into buys for price to ride back into obviously 2K. Okay, so that's the game plan for gold. I am bullish in the short term. For gold, we do have some liquidity resting above these levels, so I think we're very likely to come up and take out these levels in this week in particular. And then obviously this would be where I'd be looking to take profits off um, in the market, and then reassess to either get short or just hold on to my longs for potential push up. But I think this is where I'm going to be basically looking for um, looking to basically just take profits off at this region, and then we can reassess when price comes back at this level. But for now, I am bullish on gold coming into the new week, and this opportunity may come up on Monday. So this is something you should have marked out on your charts as we start the new week. So let's move over to Euro USD. Now, Euro USD again, if you remember, I did say I was anticipating a more of a bigger drop, but again, because of the DXY, we didn't get that drop, but we did get the bearish move I was looking for coming up to this week. On the first half of the week, we saw price come above. If you remember from the last video, I did say price will likely come mitigate this level before we see a continuation. And what do we see? First low was taken, second low was taken, and the third low was taken. 3 drives in the market. Okay, students will know this is a very high probable confirmation that you can use when you're looking at reversals in the market, before we saw an impulse to the upside. Okay, so for now, I did catch a small short, intraday short here, but yeah, price obviously took me out at break even after we saw that push come into I believe it was NFP Friday, after the data release. But now, if we just clear all this out now, okay, now what I'm looking for in terms of the EU is basically a small retracement, okay, back into this region of 1.09 and 1.089, to basically look for longs coming into swipe out this high here on the left, okay, back into 1.10. okay, that is the game plan for EU. Again, we've had the impulse, but we left all this imbalance now. All this imbalance is now left behind, so price is likely going to offer some sort of retracement, and when it does, we're most likely going to see this in the second half of the week. But if it comes up earlier, that's fine. To then look for long opportunities for price to come right back into 110 area region, to come out and swipe out this high here. All right, that is the cleanest opportunity I see coming up this week, and it's going to be the likely the highest probable setup that I do see coming up this week thus far. Okay, and then obviously my first target would obviously be 110, and then I can potentially look for price to come up even higher. 1 second. Right, we can start looking for price to come up a little higher, to potentially even target 1.11. okay, but that would be more of a swing trade. Again, for intraday wise, my target is 110, because it's very likely to come out and swipe out these highs. Okay, so very, very simple, don't overcomplicate it. Again, trading with the DXY as a confluence, okay, because we're expecting a bearish dollar, so hence I am bullish on euro against the dollar. Okay, so let's move over to BTC. Now, BTC has basically done nothing. Okay, it's stuck in consolidation. Again, this was the high point, right? Swing high, swing low. Price wicks out the high, and is now consolidating. Okay, so now what I'd ideally want to do is wait for the weekly candle closure. All right. Now, I'm still midterm. I'm still bearish, right? Mainly because there's still intent for price to come lower, and there's too much bullishness in terms of sentiment at the highs. Usually, when you have this much bullish intention at the high, it's usually a good indication that there's going to be some short-term bearishness. Now, that doesn't mean I don't expect higher BTC prices. I do. I just short-term I'm bearish. Short to midterm at least. But as of right now, with the weekly candle closure, I think we're going to see a a smaller move down. Now, what I'm going to show you is very important, so pay attention. So what price is done now? It's taken out this high, okay, and then it's just ranged for the past 2 weeks, okay. We've basically just been stuck in this range after we had that impulsive leg up, okay. Now, if I push down to the lower time frames, what you'll see, right, I'm going to move this here to the left. That's the previous high. Now, if you look at, so this is a range, right? If you look at this range, you'll notice the previous high of the range got swept, right? And the previous lows of this range has also been swept, okay? So now this is usually an inclination of a breakout to occur. When you see a range made and you see a high of a high and low of a range made, the next move is usually the breakout. Okay, this is something you should keep in mind. So if price, say, breaks above and creates a new high, it's usually a good area. Okay, so let's say it makes a new high. It's usually a good area to wait for acceptance and then take longs, because its price is likely going to break out to the upside aggressively. Okay, again, if it does the same thing here, price starts breaking down, wait for confirmation for price to make a new low, and then you can see acceptance. This is where I'd get in aggressively short, and then wait for price to ride down more more aggressively, which it likely will. So because it's taken the high and the low, now the next move will be very, very pivotal, and I am obviously betting on more bearish price action in the coming week. But again, because we're in the mid range of this small consolidation, I'm not going to enter a position now, because price can just as easily swipe above and then, you know, invalidate my position. So right now I'm just waiting for a trigger. Okay, either it pushes up, that's fine, then I'm long. Okay, I'm waiting for acceptance and then I'm long. Again, if it breaks below, I wait for acceptance, confirmation, and then I'm short, and I'm targeting the lows of my first target would be 27k, and then potentially come back into the 26k region. Okay, that would be my short-term to mid-term targets on BTC. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want to keep it short, sweet, and simple. If you guys do like this video, please like and subscribe. Comment on what videos you guys want me to do on this channel, as I want to be more active on YouTube from now on. Also, guys, mentorship applications are still live. I've been going through them this week, so if you guys are interested in joining our mentorship program, link will be in the description down below. You can apply, just answer the questions, and then you'll be entered into the applicants. But with all that said and done, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.